Now let's step back for a second and think actually what do we want to implement here. Okay, so my idea for this whole form is whenever we hit the register button, well, there's always going to be a latency between the time we click it and the time we receive a response from the server. Say it's going to be maybe, I don't know, maybe 100 milliseconds. Maybe if we have a bad connection, it's going to be a second. So the user needs to know that something is happening, right? Something is loading, okay? So wouldn't it be nice if we could, for example, change this button and say, instead of write the text register and the arrow, change it to say registering and let's say a spinner. So the typical spinner that we see in the internet when something is loading on or on mobile applications, okay? So this would give some kind of sense to the user that, you know, in fact we are doing something with their request and it's not that they have clicked the button and nothing is happening, okay? Okay, so let's see how we could do this. So whenever someone clicks the button, we need to change its state. We need to change the message of the button and we need to change the icon of the button, okay? And whenever we get a completion, we can then revert the state back to what it was. So in order to do this, I'm back in my register modal.html and we have to kind of separate these items because we want to change the text of our button and we want to change the class of our icon. So instead of using FA arrow right, we're going to be using another icon which will essentially be our spinner. So to do this, let's wrap the register around the span and give it simply an ID, okay? So I'm going to cut this and wrap it around the register, and the ID of our span will be, let's say, register button message, okay? And then I need to give an ID to our icon tag here, so we can say ID is, let's say, register button icon, okay? Okay, good. So now we have IDs which we can use to access each of these items separately. So we can go back to our HTML, our JavaScript, sorry, and we can go ahead and actually change the state of these buttons. So again, $, the parentheses, and let's access each item. So this was register button message. And to change the message, simply all we have to do is essentially change the HTML what's inside of this items here. So inside of the span, the only HTML, I mean HTML so to speak, but it's not really HTML, it's just text. But anyway, whatever is inside these tags is considered to be HTML. So whatever is inside, we need to change this, okay? So we need to change this register from register to registering, okay? So let's go back and say this button. Actually, let's create a variable for this button. So let's say var register button is equal to this, okay? And let's say register button.html is going to be registering and 3 dots, okay? Okay, this is one thing. And let's do the same thing for the icon. So this was, let's copy all of this code and say register button underscore icon is equal to register button icon, and say register button. Now we can't use the HTML because the I tag, it doesn't have anything inside of it. We need to change the class from FA arrow right to something else, okay? So let's go first to Font Awesome and see what we can use. So in their examples page, they have a nice examples page, and here we can see they have spinning icons. So we can use any of these, right? So to implement, let's say this one here, we can say FA cog, FA spin, okay? So what we need to do is remove FA arrow right and substitute it with FA cog, FA spin, okay? So how do we do this? Okay, let's go back and let's say register button icon dot remove class, and we want to remove the FA arrow right. Okay, and then immediately we want to add a class So this will be add class fa cog fa spin. Sorry, fa cog dash and then fa dash spin. Okay, so let's see if this is working. So let's go ahead and refresh our page, register, click here, and we see it's working. So great, we're changing the button. Now, what has happened in the background is we have sent a request to our server, so here, but the server has responded a 404 because we have not implemented this handler, right? We have not implemented the /register, but this is fine for now because since we're going to be testing it, it's actually handy for us to give back an error and test our error cases before we go ahead and implement our success cases.